Nesivas Shalom says in Nesivas Chinuch on page Chav Zayin 27, Hayuladim Hayikarim, our precious children, Chonan Oisam Hashem, Hashem graced them, Bechushim Iloyim, with elevated, like, chushim. How do you say chushim? Huh? Skills, it's more of like, a chush is like a sense. Yeah, like a sense, or skill, a sense. V'reish is kol, and first of all, margishim mi oihavam. They feel, right? We know this with our kips. Before you open your mouth, they know, are you against me or you for me? Do you have a problem with me or you understand me? You don't understand me, right? We know that. V'reish kol, he says, our children, Hashem gave them this gift. They know, they feel. Margishim mi oihavam. Who loves me? From that person, she'oisa yavu v'yirtzu lekabel mipiv Torah v'chinuch. That's the person that they will love, and they will want to be makabel from that teacher, Torah v'chinuch. That parent, that teacher, Torah and chinuch. V'lachein, rak hasher ha'mechanech oyev es chanichov ahavas nefesh. Therefore, only when a mechanech, an educator, and parents for sure, love their students, ahavas nefesh, tremendous ahava, yachol hatzliach. Only then can he be successful. And listen how far it goes. Listen, this is not just like a nice thing, you gotta love your kids. Now, to teach arithmetic, you don't need to love your kids. To teach history or anything else, no love is necessary. You teach the curriculum, you're a good teacher, you know how to speak, they accept it according to their brains, that will be their mark. Torah and chinuch is not like that. He says you could only teach, it's not teach, it's like putting into them. Torah, reach, right, don't teach, reach. You can only instill in them if they love you and they feel your love and they love you back and then they want to be makabel from you Torah and chinuch. Now this is amazing. V'rogel ani lishayl mechanchim im oyavim es talmidehem. So v'rogel ani, and I'm accustomed to asking the teacher, asking the educator, the mechanech, if they love their talmidim, v'al yidei zeh yodea ani midas hatzlachasam. And through that I know how well the kid is doing. So he says, I don't need to go and find out his test marks. I say, what do you think about David over there? How much do you love him? 1 to 100, 70. He's going to get 70% of obviously his brains and whatever he can do. He says, I know how matzliach each kid is doing. Again, each person's hatzlacha could be different. Some kids can get 100, right? And if the Rebbe loves them 70, they're going to get a 70. Some kids can only get an 80. So they're going to get 70% of that. Their hatzlacha is only maxed out by their capabilities and all of that, but it is according to the level of love that their Rebbe has for them. Ad kedei kach, that I don't need to faher the students. I don't need to ask, what are their marks? Isn't that incredible? Again, v'rogelani, and I'm accustomed lishal mechanchim to ask the teachers im oyavim es talmideim, if they love the students, v'al yidei zeh yodea ani midas hatzlacham. And then I know how well they're doing. A kid who feels my Rebbe doesn't like me, my Rebbe doesn't love me, he's not going to do according to his capabilities. And then he continues, this is according to the Maimer of the Baal Shem Tov, that he explains what Chazal say. There's a famous Chazal, the sun never sees the pagum, the missing part, the blemish of the moon. Right? When you see the sun faces the moon, and it sees 30% of the moon, so it's 30% lit up, and the other 70% is like a blemish. So it says, that Chama never saw the blemish, the dark side of the moon. Chama hi hamashpia. Chama is referring to the mashpia, the influencer. The levana hi hamakabeles, and the moon is the receiver. Also l'rav hamashpia. It is also for the teacher. who is a mashpia, influencing the child, lirois pegam betalmidei hamakabel, to see the blemish, the dark side of his student who is the makabel, who's the receiver. She'az ein lo yisikui la'atzlacha, because then, if you look at them as bad, you see their dark side, there's no chance for atzlacha. Of course, you see their struggle, but they're not bad. Once you look at them that they are damaged, you have no chance to beat matzliach. I wanted to add, and I think that's what he's saying. I'm not trying to add on the Nesivas Shalom, certainly not on the Baal Shem Tov, but I think that what he's saying is like this. The Chama never sees the blemish, the dark side of the moon, because why? The Chama is doing this. The Chama is radiating. The problem is on the side of the moon. It's the moon's fault that part of it is dark, because it's twisted. It's turned away. It's not the Chama's fault. But if the Chama would see the dark side of the moon, then what would happen? It wouldn't be dark anymore. So the talented mashpia, the talented mechanech, some kids, they come in and they're just, I want to hear, I want to learn. And some kids, you see, part of their brain is just twisted, is just turned away. Who knows what's going on? Some of them, there's shalom bayis at home, they didn't get food in the morning, someone's angry, someone's depressed. It could be 100 reasons why. And that part of that chama, of that levana, of that receiver, of that makabel, that part of that child is dark. And if you're just going to just talk straight, you're not going to be able to influence that dark side. But if you have skill, you can find a way to go around and get from the other side and shine your light on all the parts. When you give a hug around, you embrace, right? And that's the job, to realize, I'm not reaching David, I'm not reaching Chaim, Chani's not with me, and I'm not reaching, and I'm a good teacher, and I'm shining my light. It's their fault. The point is not whose fault it is. The point is that if you want to be matzliach, you need new tools on how to get their attention, how to reach them, how to figure out and what's wrong with them, and how to prove to them how much you're there for them and you understand them and love them. I once saw a situation where a Rebbe was complaining to the parent, and it was getting really rough. The kid doesn't listen, a young kid doesn't listen, not behaving, he doesn't this and that, he's failing, he got a 60. And I went over to the Rebbe afterwards, because I don't want to embarrass him, and I said, do you realize that when you give a 60 to a child, that what you're really saying is that you were only successful to get 60% of the knowledge into that child? The test is on you. The test is to see how successful the teacher is in instilling the knowledge. And you can blame them, and you're a great teacher, but you need more skill. And the proof is that so many kids get transferred to another class, and all of a sudden they're getting higher marks. The guy has different methods of education, different tools, or he just likes them more, he deals with them more. I had kids who did very bad with certain Rabbeim, and we thought like, oh, this kid is like, who knows? Like, what's going to be? And the next year, multi-talented guy with a lot of chen, super smart, shined his light, gave the kid a job, made him feel good, got 80s, 90s, 100s, same kid. So it's very easy to blame the child, but the bottom line is when you give a test to 30 kids and the test numbers come back, we see, wow, teach, Rebbe, you got 100% into this kid and this kid and this kid, and you got 90% into this kid, and 60 and so on. That's judging the teacher of how successful they are in getting the knowledge into the kid. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And there's so much to do. The new teachers today are going to so many workshops and studying and learning. They don't just say, all these names that they used to call stone, all kinds of words that you can blame. The question is, can you find new skills to get into that kid with that problem, work around his issues, and do it? And the koyach really comes from ahava. If you love the kid, you'll find a way. They can certainly care enough to find, how am I going to reach that kid? And when they want to, they will.